Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, which is to say in the Paleo Hebrew, Yahweh, which is the name of our Heavenly Father, meaning He is, Bahashem, meaning in the name, Yahweh Shai, meaning He is our salvation, and that is who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, a so-called black man. What would you do if they did cut Social Security, Medicaid, and or Medicare? All right, because I didn't even know this was a talking point to a associate of mine's brought it up and told me that Trump was thinking about cutting Medicaid, Medicare, or Social Security. I looked and did a little bit of research, and although they said he's made promises that he wouldn't touch those three things, who's to say that in a certain crisis, those would be cut off? And what would you do then? Okay. Now, this is an article from the New Yorker a day ago, and the headline reads, "Don't believe Trump's promises about protecting the social safety net." Okay. You see? A lot of you Americans believe in that social safety net, that you're going to have your income coming in on the first of the month. You're going to be taken care of with Medicaid or Medicare to be what? Looked at over if you get sick or ill. You see? If the government cuts this off, if Egypt cuts this off, what are you going to do? Okay? How are you going to get about getting around and getting your medicine, getting your, food and whatever else that you depend on the government for if they cut it off? Okay, just saying, how are you going to survive? A lot of you don't know what to do except for acquiesce to whatever the government says moving forward in order for your benefits to get cut back on. Okay? 2 months into Donald Trump's second term, his Republican attack dogs, including Elon Musk and his minions at Doge, are still busy chewing into many parts of the federal government. Now, you may say the New Yorker is biased, but it's just a question that's proposed that I'm using this article to get around and asking, what would you do if the government did shut down and cut off programs such as Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare? You wouldn't know what to do. It would be a complete panic throughout the land, all right? And that just goes to show you that the people here are ready. They're primed for a natural or major disaster of any sort, okay? And it's going to be easy for the government to manipulate these people because they have no faith. They have no understanding of the times that we're living in. All right. It goes on to read, but the Trump administration continues to promise that it will protect three major entitlements programs that together account for nearly half of all federal spending. Just think, if they want to continue to downgrade the government, they might have to get rid of some of these programs, okay? Or at the least cut back. So instead of you getting $1,500 a month, you may only get $600 or $500 a month, all right? They didn't cut the program altogether because he said he wouldn't get rid of it, but what? They shrunk it, okay? Now you're not getting what you need, okay? You're not getting full Medicaid or Medicare or Social Security, all right? And you're going to be struggling to try to stay afloat in this society, all right? It says the Trump administration will not cut Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid. The White House wrote in a statement a couple of weeks ago. President Trump himself has said it over and over and over again. So I guess the more you say it, the more you're supposed to reassure the people that there's nothing that's going to happen. What does it say? I believe in 2 Thessalonians, when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction come. All right, we in the time where anything is plausible and anything goes, and this man looking to bring forth or usher in his new world order, man. Of course, Trump says many things that bear little relation to reality. During last year's presidential campaign, he insisted that he had nothing to do with Project 2025. The Heritage Foundation 900-page blueprint to reshape the federal government, which describes Medicare and Medicaid as the principal drivers of our $31 trillion national debt. So they saying basically you people that's relying on the government is contributing to the national debt being at an all-time high. In order for them to cut back on that debt, they either going to have to cut back on these programs or eradicate them altogether or bring forth some type of crypto digital currency, man. To what? Have expiration dates on when you can use your money to what? Fight hyperinflation or any other kind of inflation. Okay? So it says the federal government, which describes Medicare and Medicaid as the principal drivers of our $31 trillion national debt. You see? Lo and behold, one of the authors of that report, Russell Vought, is now the director of the Office of Management and Budget, where, according to his White House bio, he is responsible for overseeing the implementation of the president's policy, management, and regulatory agendas across the executive branch. So we shall see how this all plays out, okay? Whether Project 2025 holds weight or whatever and however that this movement going forward will impact the people, all right? If they want to move away from the federal government, and make it more of what is this? It's not a I want to say I can't even say the word, but it's not a total. It's not one that rules completely. Okay. So they want to move away from, the people, quote unquote, ruling. Let me see what it's called. I want to say bureaucracy. It might be that. I think that's what the word is called, bureaucracy. So they want to move from a bureaucracy, to, sort of like in the form of a monarchy, like one rule, okay? Because that's basically what they're doing, man. All right. This Doge program under Elon, he's basically, pretty much influencing the whole government. Okay. Doge is Department of Government Efficiency. So if they want to move away from having excess fat and giving you people money that they don't have, back, because there's even talk about the gold being in Fort Knox, whether there's the gold that they say they have in there. All right. So there's too many things going on that, they may cut these programs altogether or may cut back. And it's going to affect you people. All right. Because I believe in one of the videos that I had, Trump said it's going to be a little bit of hard time. Well, I ain't going to say a little bit, but he said there's going to be hard times we're going to have to go through in order to get to the other side. So what could he be hinting to? All right. A lot of elder people, a lot of people in general that depend on these programs, man, they're going to have to, when it comes down to it, whatever step moving forward that they're going to have to use in order to get their money or their aid or supplies, they're going to have to capitulate to. All right. And we know ultimately where it's heading to. It's heading to that chip, that beast system. Okay. So this is just, everything put on the table. It says Social Security is as the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time. In online posts and an appearance on Fox Business, he also claimed that there were more than 20 million people aged 100 or older in the Social Security database. You see? So, hey, Doge, Department of Government Efficiency, they may go in, do a sweep, cut off a lot of these so-called individuals that's getting Social Security, and may just finally say, just do away with the program altogether. It may come in with another program, all right? Something comparable to Social Security and Medicaid and Medicare, all right? But you have to have that chip in order to get it. So it says, and he suggests that this could be evidence of persuasive fraud. Trump repeated these allegations in a speech to Congress. All right. So, you could take it with a grain of salt, but hey, just be prepared, because a lot of these people that rely on these government programs, these government aids, are going to feel the wrath if they cut them off altogether, or even if they cut back a significant amount of it. All right. This is another one. The Republican plan to dismantle Affordable Care Act. The Republican plan to dismantle the Affordable Care Act. Everyone is talking about Republicans. Proposed Medicaid cuts. But hardly anyone is calling that, Slakia, but hardly anyone is calling this what it really is. The strategy by Elon Musk, President Trump, and the Republican Party to dismantle the Affordable Care Act one piece at a time. Okay? And yeah, it was, it says 15 years to the date, March 23rd, when President Barack Obama signed it in 2010, ACA expanded Medicaid and provided subsidies so that more working and middle-class Americans could have access to our expensive and complicated healthcare system. Now, I've always heard that Canada provides their people with free healthcare. I don't know how good it is, but they do provide their citizens with free healthcare. America, they want you to pay. All right? It says, the law also made it illegal to drop or deny coverage to those with pre-existing conditions and allowed children to stay on their parents' coverage until the age of 26. All right? So this Affordable Care Act is another part of Medicaid. All right? So, we'll see how Trump wants to go forward with this agenda, if he actually doesn't affect Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare, like he said, or if he does affect it and do away with it altogether or cut back on it. The question still remains the same. What do you people, or should I say, what do you think the people are going to do if that happens this term? All right? They're going to be in an uproar. All right? Because they have no other means of survival outside of this system. They have no faith. They have no belief. Okay? This is what they depended on their whole life, the American dream, which is going to turn into the American nightmare. All right? Soon rather than later. So this is all they have. You take that away from them, they don't know how to sustain. They're going to revert back to, animalistic, behavior. All right? And that's coming, man. That's coming. Trust and believe. Jacob's trouble is right around the corner. So let's go and get a few precepts. This is Isaiah 31 and verse 1. Help not in Egypt, but in the Most High. Verse 1 says, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help. You see, this is what happened when you consistently rely on a system for help. All right, you're going to be screwed when this system cuts off everything. And it's coming, okay? You're going to be screwed. You're not going to know where to go, what to do, and how to move in that day. It says, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots, because there are many, and in horsemen, because they are very strong. You see, they look at America as being their pacifier, their savior. You know, this government system would never turn its back on its people. All right. They put laws to, protect their people in the Constitution. All that goes out the door with a major disaster, a crisis. Okay. So, woe to you that go down to Egypt. It says, because they are very strong, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek Yahweh. Right, you see? Understanding this word puts you in the mind frame / mindset to know that this place is going to be over any second now. Okay? All it takes is one major crisis, incident, disaster to catapult this thing into, complete civil unrest, complete, mayhem. And we here, man. Okay? Imagine if they woke up and it was an attack on the computer system. Now Medicad ain't working. Now you can't get to your doctors because he doesn't have any of your files online. They don't did away with, filing things, by hand. Everything is done by computer. You can thank 2020 to that, because ever since 2020, they've been putting everything on, online. Now you people that, rely on Social Security or Medicaid or Medicare, you can't get your help. Because why? You can't get online. You think your doctors is going to feel empathy for you? Oh yeah, I know you've been coming here for 5, 10, 15 years, but we don't have your files online. We can't get online. We can't help you. You're going to be asked out, man. It says, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek Yahweh. Right. This is the time that you have to be finding out what's getting ready to come. All right. This place isn't built to last forever. Okay. It's going to crumble. And we're close to that breaking point. You see? And a lot of these people here is going to find out the hard way that they ain't prepared for what's getting ready to come, man. All right? So what are you going to do if it does happen? Which you can never say never. All right? When they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes. First Thessalonians 5:3, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction come upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So imagine he's sitting here telling you this, keeping you, at bay because, they don't want civil unrest and things happening beforehand. So they telling you these things. Man, we'll never touch Social Security. We'll never touch, Medicaid or Medicare. Meanwhile, they staging a blackout, something that can knock everything offline. Now you can't get your Social Security, okay? They ain't giving out checks no more. You got Social Security, you got to have a debit card or something like that. A blackout, you can't go to the ATM and take money out, okay? You stuck. All right? Anything and everything can happen just like that in a blink of an eye. This whole thing could come crumbling down, man. With an outage or a quote-unquote attack from a foreign entity, anything could take place. They don't have to just cut it off directly. They can use other avenues indirectly to mess with your Social Security, your Medicaid, your Medicare. All right? Then you left in the dark, not knowing when you're going to get any type of aid or any type of money or any type of food. or anything, all right? Causing what? More division, all right? You don't think these people that depend on that is going to do whatever it takes to get fed or to get something? They're going to start coming to these well-to-do off neighborhoods, okay? So, hey, man, just be on, be on the lookout because anything can happen, man. Not saying that it will, but, hey, it's not out of the realm of possibilities, okay? So this is 1 Peter 5 and 8. And this is why we tell you, man, stay on point, all right? This is 1 Peter 5 and 8. It says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. Hey, if you don't think this devil is plotting and planning for something, you don't know what's going on. You don't know this devil. All right? He's subtle. He's slick. He can say he won't touch it, but doesn't mean that he won't have his hand on it in some way, shape, or form. Oh, yeah, I won't touch your Social Security, but doesn't mean he won't use a strategic attack, cyber attack or something like that, and then blame it on somebody else. Oh, I didn't touch it. I just used somebody else to touch it. You see? You have no readiness or preparedness for when all hell breaks loose, man. Okay? Meanwhile, those of us that are in the faith, we're watching, we're sober, we're vigilant. We understand. It's getting ready to go off, man. It's getting ready to pop off anytime. All right? We're waiting. We're praying for it. All right? Because that's when the Lord is going to show his favor to those of us that are of the elect. We're going to be taken care of, pursuant to Isaiah 65 and 13. My servants shall eat, but you shall be hungry. My servants shall drink, but you shall be thirsty. My servants shall have glory, but ye shall be shamed. All right? The Most High is going to work miracles for those that believe in him. All right? Those that don't, that go down to Egypt, woe to them, destruction to them, because they ain't going to have an idea, a clue what's going on. Okay? That's their lot. All right? So be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. All right? So with that being said, pray someone was edified through this lesson. And until the next time, if it be the Lord's will, stay strong, stay in the faith. We almost home. Shalom. Peace.